You can't fix the mind by forcing it. You have to understand it first. We live in an age where people try to conquer their minds like it's a battle to be won. Discipline, productivity, hustle, reprogramming. But the mind, it isn't a machine. It's not a thing to be fixed. It's a garden to be understood, nurtured, and tended with care. Most people treat their mind like a disobedient child. They scold it, they command it, they expect it to behave instantly. Stop overthinking. Don't be afraid. Just be positive. But let me ask you something deeply human. Have you ever calmed a crying child by shouting at them? By telling them to just stop? What happens? They cry louder. They feel misunderstood. Their small body trembles not just from what hurt them, but now from the fear of being punished for feeling it. And yet, this is exactly how we treat ourselves. We become both the wounded child and the frustrated parent inside our own minds. We try to bury anxiety under distraction. We try to silence fear with fake confidence. We try to force peace like it's a switch to be flipped. But the mind doesn't bloom under pressure. It opens under presence. In Zen, there's a quiet, powerful story. A student once approached the master and said, "My mind is noisy, restless, full of fear. How do I quiet it?" The master didn't offer a technique or a mantra. He simply said, "Stop trying to quiet it. Sit beside it, listen, and it will quiet itself." Because true healing doesn't come from control. It comes from companionship. You can't push fear out of your mind. You have to invite understanding in. Here's something ancient, yet forever alive. A whisper from the soul of the Bhagavad Gita. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. What a line. Simple words, eternal truth. But let's look closer. Krishna doesn't say, attack the mind, suppress it, escape from it. He says conquer. And in spiritual language, conquering is not what we think it is. In the world, to conquer means to overpower, to dominate, to bend something to your will. But in the world of spirit, of truth, of the inner life, conquering means something entirely different. It means understanding without judgment. It means seeing clearly without reacting blindly. It means becoming so rooted in awareness that the storms of the mind lose their power to shake you. True conquering is not war, it's awakening. Imagine a wild horse, untamed, furious, spirited. It kicks, it runs, it resists the reins. Now ask yourself, how do you tame it? Not by beating it, not by shouting louder. That only creates more fear, more resistance. You tame it with something far more difficult. Patience, presence, and trust. You approach slowly. You observe. You breathe. You build a relationship, not a prison. And slowly, the wildness turns to loyalty. The chaos turns to clarity. And that once rebellious force becomes your greatest companion. Just like a wild horse. You don't tame it by beating it. You tame it by patience, presence, and trust. Try this. Not as a technique, but as an invitation. The next time your thoughts begin to race, when your heart pounds from nowhere, when the noise in your head grows so loud that it drowns out the present moment, don't react. Don't grab your phone. Don't distract yourself with music or scrolling. Don't rush to fix it, to numb it, to push it away. And most of all, don't try to shut it down. Because the moment you resist your mind, it resists back. Instead, just pause, breathe, and watch. Like you're sitting by a river, and your thoughts are the flowing water. You don't jump in, you don't chase each leaf floating past, you just sit, still, and witness. This is not doing nothing. This is doing the most courageous thing a human can do, to be fully present with the truth of what is happening inside. The Buddhists call this practice vipassana. It means to see things as they truly are, not as you fear them to be, not as you wish them to be, but simply as they are. No judgment, no clinging, no control. Just awareness. It sounds simple, but it is sacred. Because when you begin to watch the mind instead of fighting it, something begins to shift. The silence deepens, the grip of thoughts loosens, and the truth begins to rise. You start to see why the mind reacts the way it does. You notice that your fear isn't random. It comes from a moment in the past that was never fully seen. You see that your anger isn't evil. It's pain wearing a mask. You feel how your anxiety isn't your enemy. It's just the body crying out for safety. And through this gentle watching, without effort, without force, the mind starts to open. It begins to trust you. It begins to speak. And in that moment, fear reveals its roots. Anger uncovers its wound, and anxiety becomes a whisper instead of a scream. We live in a world that celebrates strength. Be tougher. Be more focused. Be more disciplined. Don't feel so much. Don't break. Don't bend. Don't stop. And so we push ourselves. We treat the mind like a soldier in training, demanding that it obey, yelling at it when it's tired, judging it when it stumbles. We try to conquer our chaos through effort, through willpower, through mental force. And yes, discipline has its place. Yes, strength is beautiful. But what if I told you that the most powerful medicine for the human mind isn't strength, it's compassion? Not the soft, fluffy kind that feels like escape, but the grounded, ancient, warrior kind of compassion. The kind that says, I will sit with you in your darkness. I will not run from your pain. I will not punish you for being afraid. A monk once said in a whisper that carries centuries of truth, when the mind is full of pain, give it kindness, not commands. Let that sink in. Because how often do we give our own mind orders like a harsh master? Stop overthinking. Why can't I focus? What's wrong with me? I should be stronger by now. But that never heals anything. You can't slap a crying child into silence. You can't yell a wound into closing. And you can't force the mind into peace. You heal by holding space, by listening, by offering the same warmth to your own pain that you would to someone you love. So next time your inner world is storming, instead of saying, why am I like this? Try saying, I see you, mind. Let's walk together. In Japanese philosophy, there is a word that feels like a whisper from the soul, wa. It means harmony, but not just outer harmony, not just silence or peace between people. It points to something deeper, an inner alignment, a rhythm that flows through you, the earth, the sky, and every breath. Wa is the art of being in tune with your nature, with your environment, with the moment. It teaches you don't shout at the snow to melt. You don't command the cherry blossoms to bloom faster. You don't resist the winds of autumn. You let the leaves fall. And so too, with your mind. Modern life has trained us to resist everything that doesn't feel calm. We treat sadness as a problem, fear as a weakness, anger as a flaw. But the wisdom of Wa reminds us, everything has a place, even the storms. Because your mind is not a machine, it's a landscape. And landscapes have seasons. Sometimes your thoughts will bloom like spring, hopeful and full of life. Other times they will feel heavy like winter, cold, slow, and still. There will be mornings when your spirit feels clear like a summer sky, and nights when it's clouded and confused like a monsoon. But all of it is part of the dance. You're not meant to control it. You're meant to move with it. Think of a river. You don't stand in its path and try to block it. You follow its current. You trust that even when the waters are rough, they're still flowing toward the ocean. Your mind is that river, sometimes calm, sometimes crashing, but always moving, always evolving, always alive. The wise ones, the monks, the poets, the mystics, they didn't escape the mind. They learned how to sit beside it, breathe with it, walk with it. They carried something with them, not control, not resistance, but an umbrella of awareness. Because in the end, your job isn't to control the weather, but to carry an umbrella of awareness. Here's a simple daily exercise to start understanding your mind. Morning check-in. Before you touch your phone, ask, how is my mind feeling right now? No judgment, just notice. Name the thought. When fear or stress shows up, say, fear is visiting me today. Give it a name. Make it a guest, not a master. Stillness practice, 5 minutes. Sit in silence. Let thoughts pass like clouds. Don't follow. Just breathe. Evening reflection. At night, write one thing your mind told you that wasn't true. I'm not good enough. And write the truth beside it. I am growing at my own pace. The more you observe, the less control the mind has. Not because you forced it to stop, but because you finally understood its language. You don't need to beat the mind into silence. You need to become the space that listens. Remember, a peaceful mind isn't an achievement. It's a return to what you always were beneath the noise. You can't fix the mind by forcing it. You have to understand it first. So start now. Start gently and start within.